the sound of Katie J. Pearson and Hal. You're locked into Soho Radio, and I'm joined in the studio by Jacana People, Rob and Aaron. Hey guys.
Hey Georgie.
You have been on the show before, but via Zoom because it was
COVID
times.
It was COVID times.
But I'm really glad to have you back in and like IRL as well. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, good. It's so nice to be here.
Yeah.
First time I've been in the studio actually at all, so I love this place.
Yes.
We've walked past, for years now, so it's so nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that Zoom was like right in the middle of lockdown, wasn't it? So that was.
Yeah, we were kind of right in the middle of it, weren't we?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you were one of the artists of a few amazing artists that I discovered in that pandemic time, and you kind of came out of that pandemic time as Jacana People, didn't you? Like sort of.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. It all started in lockdown for us. So it's really nice now. We're kind of out and about and can be meeting everyone who've been chatting to for 2 years and. Yeah.
Able to actually connect and play shows to people and do your thing. So you guys are back with a new EP, which you've made with Neil Cowley. So I actually played And the Lake Was, which was the first taster of this collaboration with Neil. But I guess firstly, just for people that haven't come across Jacana People, tell me a bit about your story, how you started making music together, and then when the Neil Cowley collaboration and meet-up came into play.
Sure, Rob, do you want
to? We've been making music together for kind of way back, kind of from indie bands when we were in school, and we kind of gradually moved towards the electronic space, and we were in a band before that didn't work out, and then the pandemic hit and we kind of left with all this time on our hands, and we kind of just started producing loads in like kind of the first few months of the pandemic, and we kind of were sitting on all this material that we kind of just started to put out fairly casually, and then it kind of picked up traction pretty quickly, didn't it?
Yeah, it was like a way of exploring and expressing ourselves and keeping busy and sane and all of that stuff, like I'm sure it was for a lot of people making music. And so we were doing that, kind of rolling, like that was ticking along, and then we met Neil in spring last year. I think we had a not allowed writing session. I think we jumped in the studio and it was just something we had, like our managers knew each other kind of thing and thought it'd be fun, and we got in with Neil, and it was just we just really clicked, hit it off, and wrote that track And the Lake Was that went on an EP we put out this May.
Yes.
And then we went in 4 more times with Neil to write what is the EP that we're kind of here to talk about, and it became the Myna Cycles project, which is what that we've named our collaboration. So that's kind of a rough summary of where we're at with Neil.
Yeah. And it seemed like, I mean, he even wrote kind of in the PR that everything just happened so quickly, like all these tracks just happened so organically, so kind of quickly and effortlessly almost in the studio, that actually the thing that took the most time was deciding what to call them and all of that, the admin side of it. What was it? Can you describe those studio sessions? Like, what was it about it that felt so free and sort of organic? Organic, I hate that word, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
I think for both of us it was kind of a bit of respite from like our own respective stuff, which we kind of spend a lot of time on each track and agonize over a bit, whereas
as does Neil.
So just coming together, it kind of freed up the process. You weren't kind of thinking too much about everything being perfect. It was just kind of like, you have this day, let's see what we can get done, and then at the end of it, that's that.
It was just really fun. Neil is such a free, kind of liberating energy to be in the studio with, because he's so not precious about anything. It's just, Neil is obviously has a history of just making wonderful records with amazing artists, and he's done so many amazing things himself. It's, but he comes in with no pretense and there's no pressure. He's just a really happy, energetic, creative kind of force, which is a joy to be around in the studio. And he just really encouraged us to make noise and make sound, and let's not think too hard about it, and that's often when you find that, look at that, 8 hours has gone, we've made a track and we're going to be home in time for dinner or whatever, that kind of thing, without agonizing, and you feel good coming out of it as well.
Just a cruisy 9-to-5 situation. No sort of like 72-hour writing session, pulling your hair out and just feeling like really really stressed about it. No, it sounds like it just came together really great, and I think you do sort of hear that in the music. Talk also about how landscape, kind of imaginary landscape or actual physical landscape tied in with the inspiration?
Sure, yeah. I mean, it was, we didn't really have many briefs or like input going into the session. It was often like, this is a cool bit of kit, let's play with that. But we were, as we started to get a nugget of an idea, we'd think, okay, well, what does this look like? If we close our eyes, what does this sound like? This bit of synth, or what Neil was playing on piano, we'd do it like that. So Tundra, which is the first single from the EP, we kind of imagined kind of expansive, icy landscape with whatever we were hearing at the time. I can't remember if what we were hearing ended up on the final track, but it was often like we just get a mood and atmosphere and try and imagine, conjure some kind of visual landscape. Yeah, it's
yeah. I think more broadly, like obviously the tracks are all instrumental, so we're not kind of being led by like a lyrical piece of inspiration. So you kind of look elsewhere for like the mood of the track and what you're trying to kind of get across with your instrumentation.
Well, Tundra is the first track that we heard from this EP, isn't it?
yes.
And we should play it. Can you talk a little bit about it? How this one came together? Is there a story to it?
Yeah, I mean, this will be the second track. Every track we wrote with Neil is in sequence, and it's on sequence on the EP. So this is the first single and the first track on the EP. And again, it was our second day together after we wrote And the Lake Was, that first track we made, and we were kind of buoyed up by the, I guess, you know, the good energy that we'd had before, and I think we're just really excited to write. And I remember that, you know, this one just came together really nice and quickly as well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Let's hear it. So this is Jacana People and Neil Cowley as Myna Cycles, and it's called Tundra. So this is the sound of Jacana People working with Neil Cowley on a tune called Tundra from the new Myna Cycles collaborative project, and I'm joined in the studio by Rob and Aaron of Jacana People. Super happy to have you guys in. That sounds so gorgeous. Well done.
Thank you.
Just, you know, takes you away somewhere, you know,
That's
just
good.
very
That's what we want.
transportative, which your music does too. That's kind of the vibe of it, isn't it? Tell me a little bit about like what each of you do. I mean, we might have gone over this when you guys last were on the show on Zoom, but yeah, how does this dynamic duo between you two work?
Yeah, it's Rob, do you want to, how does it work?
Well, I mean, it kind of can change each time. Like, you know, for one track, Aaron might start the idea. For one track, I might start the idea. The beauty of it is that we kind of weave in and out, you know, the respective roles, kind of depending on the track a bit.
Yeah, and we play instruments as well.
Yeah.
So
Which instruments? Yeah.
So I mean, a mixture of guitar, bass, and keys, and that's usually somehow we'll start an idea in some way or add to an idea, and I lean a bit more to bass and keys. Rob's much more of a guitarist. Well, he's a better guitarist than me, that's what I'm saying. So we do have natural kind of pockets where we kind of fill in, and we've been working together for so long, so long now, that it's like you kind of just fill in each other's kind of like mental gaps, or where you're kind of, it just happens. And I think that's when great kind of collaboration happens, when you're not thinking about it too much. So it's quite hard to say, oh, well, you did that and I'll do this. It just kind of
just flows. Yeah. And you guys met at school?
Yeah,
is
we
it?
met at school.
Yeah.
God, how many
But
years
in
ago?
Buckinghamshire?
Yeah, in Bucks.
Yeah.
Just out of London.
Yeah.
And that was about 10 years ago.
10 years
like that.
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
10 years ago now.
So you're a decade into your working marriage.
We are, the marriage.
Does it feel like that sometimes?
It does. And then sometimes it does. I mean, in a positive way, it really doesn't. You know, it's like, because, I mean, we're doing some writing last week on a load of new music, and that felt as exciting as the first Jacana People thing we wrote. And, you know, so that is still very much, I mean, I guess the good thing is you kind of get into rhythms that are good for making stuff happen, and you don't get bogged down in ego as much.
Yeah, most of the time.
Yeah, most of the time. And to be fair, working with Neil, that has been amazing. With like, he has no ego when it comes to parts, or, you know, he has so much experience and is so talented as a pianist and producer. It's kind of hard not to be a bit overwhelmed by him, especially because we'll come in, you know, he'll hear a tiny bit of sound and then it's just blowing your mind with some piano. And I think with the Myna Cycles thing, our roles kind of got did kind of go like spread out a bit more, because he is such a like virtuosic piano player. No, I don't think you'd like me saying that, but he is.
Yeah.
So that was very much part of the sound and the makeup of the tracks, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, I think also that's kind of one of the reasons we like collaborating with people, is that it breaks you out of kind of patterns that we have working together, which kind of allows you to explore kind of other stuff which otherwise you wouldn't be able to.
Yeah. Wow, that must have been so amazing just watching him just play.
It really is breathtaking. I mean, he really is just an unbelievable player, and he's so musical as well. That's another thing. Obviously, there are incredibly talented musicians, across the spectrum, jazz, classical, whatever. But he's so musical that it's very easy to make things happen in a room, because he'll pick up on something that it might take us, I don't know, a day or 2 days to, okay, where's the song in this? And but yeah, I think it got Neil out of his own head as well, because he can be very like a perfectionist, and so I think that's why we've enjoyed it so much.
Yeah. There's nothing quite like the sound of a piano. I grew up playing it, and it really is like one of my greatest disappointments. My poor parents, literally like 10 years of piano lessons, and I can play maybe a quarter of an intro to a Nora Jones track, which is like somewhere lurking in the depths of my subconscious from a piano book that I try. It's like, but I guess it's not all lost, because I have a musical ear, and I can, like pick up stuff, and with DJing, like I can mix tracks and stuff and all of that, so it's fine, it's not lost. But whenever I hear piano, just someone playing a piano beautifully, like it does something to me. It's just, I think it is one of the most remarkable instruments ever made.
Yeah, I know. I certainly agree on it.
And it also blends so well with electronics as well. We find it's just so open and harmonically rich. You can really pair a lot with it.
And songs are often in pianos, like just that the sound of a piano, what it can do, is so human and emotive. And there are so many great songs that are just piano songs, and it's like a big reason why the Myna Cycles stuff is so easy, is because as soon as you have an amazing piece of piano, it's hard to you only really can mess it up when you start adding too much. So
sort of like keep it sort of simple and sparse.
Exactly.
So did you guys play a bit of piano? Did he encourage you to, or was it kind of like, he's got that locked on this?
You played some Rhodes on the record.
I played some Rhodes on the record. Like I wrote a bit on piano, because that's what I like. I play piano, not like Neil plays piano. No one plays piano like Neil, but so I played I don't think there was any recorded piano, but I played a bit of keys, and we did a lot. Rob played a lot of synth as well, and he was super encouraging. That is his instrument, and that he has his own dialogue with it. But certainly encouraged us to be hands-on playing.
Myna Cycles, Myna Cycles. Why that for the project? And did it really take forever to figure that out?
So between the names of the tracks and the name of the project, we never thought it would come out. So Myna Cycles was a name that we were kind of kicking around when we started Jacana People, actually. And it's another bird. Myna is a bird.
Myna bird. Okay.
And Cycles, we just like the idea of revolutions, circular flow. There's a lot to it that we don't necessarily want to put too fine a point on, but it just felt like it was a bit more thoughtful, a bit more expansive. We mentioned it to Neil, I think, in the studio, and it was like, that kind of feels good. Natural, and links to the Jacana People stuff, but felt like it was Neil's thing as well. Is that fair?
And I think it kind of alludes slightly to like the landscapes that we were talking about earlier. Kind of has an openness to it somehow.
When you find one, you just all agree and just go,
done. Before you disagree, that's the
done. Sleep on it maybe a night. Oh no, it's still fine. It's
still
fine. It's impossible. It's so impossible of all of the names that have been used and like things to Google and things you've got to think about. But it works. Myna. Is the Myna bird a good-looking bird, or like what kind of bird?
Yeah, I think it's a nice small little bird. Like
you could probably Google it.
Yeah, you go. I mean, we try not to think too much about it, because again, it's not about it being that bird in like.
Oh yeah,
nice. We're just looking at Georgie's
got a
reaction now.
little yellow beak.
Yeah,
nice little yellow beak and yellow socks. as well. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
No,
To be fair, a lot of people have said the Jacana bird is
slight plume as well going on.
nice.
Yeah.
We should probably know this.
Yeah, this is. I'll take some notes. Yeah.
No, I was just wondering if I went to Costa Rica in January, and it turns out a couple of my girl mates are like proper twitchers. So like everywhere we went, they were like, "Oh, look up there! There's a macaw flying over, or there's a this or that." And actually, we did see not a sloth. We tried to find a sloth. There's a really impressive bird, and it's gone out of my mind. It'll come to me anyway. But yeah, they love birds.
Nice,
so,
yeah.
It's like, gotta just have a little look and
Yeah,
see what
gotta
we're
have a
dealing
look,
with
yeah.
here. So we're going to play Sun Glimmers, which is another track off the EP. When the EP's out in a few days. What date?
August 12th.
August the 12th.
Next Friday, yeah.
So has anybody heard this track yet?
No.
Oh.
I guess no one apart from our team has heard it, yeah.
Hey guys, this is a world exclusive.
It's an exclusive, yeah.
And we didn't even know.
No,
Didn't even know about it. So this is another track from this Myna Cycles EP, 4 tracks. And so this is Sun Glimmers. Tell me about this one. So is this, what one in the process was this?
So this is number 2, yeah.
Number 2.
So it's a nice track to play after Tundra. This is the track we wrote. This would have been third day in the studio with Neil. I think there was probably a bit of, okay, we're moving towards something here. We've written 2 tracks. What does this mean? What does this look like? I remember this being a more difficult track, actually. It took us a while. You'll kind of hear in the track, it's a bit more energetic, maybe a bit sweeter than Tundra. And we had that kind of built into the song. And it wasn't quite gelling. It was a bit too, I don't know, delicate, dainty for Neil's ears. I remember him not being quite happy with that.
It definitely didn't emerge until about kind of 4:35. I think.
Yeah, we thought the spell might have been broken because we were like, oh no.
We're going to be here for dinner.
Yeah, we're going to be late. Yeah. But it was it happened really quickly. And then I remember Neil had a different piano part that he got rid of completely. And then he sat down and did his Neil thing. And the track literally and then it was just an hour and then we finished it from when the piano that you hear in the track. So. Yeah.
And is this going to be a single, I think?
It's kind of the lead track on the EP.
Yeah,
so it's leading the release next Friday, whatever that means. Yeah.
Well, this is what it sounds like, Sun Glimmers. Myna Cycles and Sun Glimmers. Sun Glimmers, that is Jacana People and Neil Cowley working together as Myna Cycles and sounding it's so ethereal and widespread. Wow, I cannot. So I think it's because it's really hot in her. I cannot speak today. It's really ethereal and widescreen and cinematic and just real kind of like immersive listen. Is that what you were going for? Was there anything that you kind of had an aim with this project and that you really feel like you came through on and you're really pleased with?
I mean, I guess kind of broadly exploring like a deeper side to the stuff we do. I like the word widescreen. That's cool. Yeah. Kind of again ties into the landscape thing. We wanted something kind of quite complex and quite expansive.
Yeah, it's a bit. I think it's a bit more of a deep listen than our music maybe, and obviously some of our own material leans a bit more clubby or a bit more like electronic straight up. I don't know, but the Myna Cycle stuff is very freeing. I don't know, it was like when we were making it, I don't know, I listened to that track and it sounds like how I felt when we made it, that kind of the looseness, the freedom, the kind of experimentation. There's a lot of experimentation really that went into it, so maybe it's a bit more, I don't know, eclectic, a bit more specific about the kind of listener that might enjoy this. But with everything we make, it's still, the aim is for it to still be accessible for maybe people who aren't that into electronic music or crossover, that kind of thing. So it's.
And what are your plans live and also with new Jacana People? Like, what are you guys working on? Because I know you always have stuff.
We do.
Yeah, just, a stash of stuff that you're
we do have a lot of
getting
stuff
through. So where are you at?
So we've kind of got a special Myna Cycles moment that's happening next week that can't really tell people about yet, but there'll hopefully be something to look at.
Yeah,
by the time the EP comes out.
Stay tuned to the socials for that, And
Jacana People stuff kind of takes over pretty quickly because we're going up to Lost Village to play the festival there.
Cool.
And then we're into a load of live stuff which hasn't been announced in September, and a run of Jacana People music that is coming kind of from September till the end of the year.
Exciting.
That we're really excited about. So that will be big for us, hopefully.
And are you sticking with the EP format as you've done so far, or are you working towards that first record, that first studio full length?
I think it's always in the back of our mind, the full length. It's not coming immediately, but we are writing things now which we maybe are putting aside for that moment. Or I mean, at the moment we're looking at some singles to kind of take us to the end of the year, we think, and there should be like maybe another EP moment next year, but then from there maybe we're gonna do it. I don't know.
Yeah, I think we're still kind of at quite like an explorative phase of what we're doing. Like, it's kind of nice being able to try various different things before you kind of land on something more long form.
Yeah.
So we're just enjoying experimenting.
And I wonder, having come out of the pandemic, obviously we can dance again, we can go to festivals again. It's all completely back. I wonder, has that affected things as well? Are you kind of leaning towards making the more ravier side of what you do just because of being back in that world?
Yeah, I mean, yes is the answer to that.
Yeah.
We have some tracks that we're sitting on that definitely look a bit more to the club and to getting people moving. Everything we do is kind of with our filter over it, that you can't, whatever that is. It's not necessarily we're trying to make a big club banger or a warehouse rave number, but we're definitely threading some of that in, and that may be a part of what we're putting out in the next kind of 6 months.
It's hard not to go to a show or a festival and kind of be inspired and kind of imbibe that the next time you go and write. It's
especially as we're playing live shows now and we're seeing what makes the difference, and it is often those ones that kind of have a bit more edge, a bit more thump to them. So it's definitely going to be, it's informing itself in kind of in a cycle.
No, it's exciting. It's been so good sort of just being back to like a Glastonbury or Fortet headline the Park stage. It's just like all the lasers and everyone just having such a good time, and it just, it's so good to be able to. And actually, I've seen so many good electronic. So Bonobo at Royal Albert Hall and John Hopkins at Royal Albert Hall.
Oh, amazing!
That was like last year. Bonobo this year. Oh my gosh, so many good games.
We went to the Bonobo show.
Did you go? Yeah.
Bonobo, so good.
Wasn't it far out?
It was just
being in the Royal Albert Hall, and then oh my god,
the strings were so good as well.
Yeah, it was so good.
Beautiful.
So it's exciting. Well, it's exciting that there'll be some live shows to go check you guys out, because I guess coming out of the pandemic and stuff, like you said at the beginning, you're able to do that now. Was it quite a special thing though when you did put out those first early tracks? And then suddenly you're like, we're in lockdowns and you're kind of just working out of a studio, just you two. And then you're seeing it get picked up and played on national radio and like embraced by people. Was that really special?
Yeah, I mean, it was unbelievable for us, really. We were very touched, and it was emotions very heightened at the time for a lot of us in our personal lives anyway. So it was amazing to have the kind of being able to do that with Rob, and then seeing that translate and seeing people come through who enjoy it and engage with it and want to kind of correspond with you and communicate. It's a very humbling thing, and I think, we certainly didn't start the project, with that aim, but it's very gratifying to see fans and to see people like into it, and seeing that kind of follow through with a live show and things like that. It's, and being here talking to you, Georgie, it's like, it's really nice that it's kind of, we've had that follow through, and we're out of it, and we're got loads of new stuff to talk about, and that's awesome. Yeah,
stuff's coming full circle kind of thing. Well, let's play a little oldie. Farah was one of the first tracks that I think I played by you guys when I discovered your music. We should leave on this. Rob and Erin from Jacana People, thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks
Georgie,
for having us.
Everybody go check out this Myna Cycles EP out next Friday. And anything that you can say about Farah? Memories.
This was a really important track for us at the time. It was like we were kicking things into gear. First year, Jacana People out of the way, and I remember this being a big moment for us. So it'll be nice to hear it actually.
Cool. Well, we'll crank it up here, and implore you to do the same. Nice. Anyone listening, thank you so much, Jacana People. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.